Well, EIO, up the Premier League we go. Good evening. It's Friday night and it's Extratyne on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. You can see by the broad smiles on our faces that it's been an absolutely tremendous week in the world of Newcastle United once again. And I'm absolutely delighted that we are rejoined by Laura. Laura, I've been lost without you. Thank you so much for
sorry, thanks.
Do you know what I mean? You like totally dropped us in it.
Sorry. I'm back though. Back for good.
Back for good. You've always got to get in it. The boy band reference. Early doors.
Got it in there.
It's like a Isaac Hayden reducer tackle. Just get it in early doors. And as you can see down below me is Scott, all the way, our man in Amsterdam. How are you doing, Scott, mate? Are you all right?
I'm good. Thanks for having us on, Roger. And yeah, it's good to be here.
I have to say, Scott, mind, I don't know about Laura, but I feel very technologically inferior checking out your speakers behind you there. Wow,
don't worry about it.
Yeah, there, mate. I tell you what. So, as I said in the introduction, there, it's been another absolutely brilliant week in the world of Newcastle United. The undefeated streak continues. 9 games in the league. We'll just park that. We'll park that Cambridge game. 9 games undefeated, 6 wins within those fixtures. So I think everybody with a black and white persuasion is feeling rather pleased with themselves. Thank you to those people joining us live this evening. We've got some of the usual suspects. We've got Tom. Sorry, Scott, I'm going to push you out the way there with these comments. I do apologise. We've got Jay Wouk. We've got Grant. We've got Freddie. And I think it's Freddie who's suffering from a little bit of COVID, I believe. I think it's Freddie that's suffering from COVID. So, Freddie, all the best, son. Hope you're feeling better soon. Geordie Tune for Life, good evening to you. Adam, actually, I was thinking about this bet next year about us winning the league, but we'll see. Maybe we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. And yes, this 1 quarter zip, and it's bloody lovely. Well, the lads had it on last night, so that's the reason I put it on, Adam. So, loads to get through today. We're going to take a little break from the Hall of Fame this week to Laura's massive disappointment, and I believe to Malcolm's disappointment.
I've been making notes and everything.
Well, you've got them ready for next time. But next week, it's actually St. Patrick's Day when we play Everton.
So we're not even doing the one that I was going to do.
So we're going to do a special Irishman special.
Oh, brilliant.
But stay tuned, because the week after that, we'll be doing Academy Graduates. So we're going to go...
Busy that week?
We're going to go... What?
Sorry.
Yeah. We're going to go all the way back to players such as Bob Moncur and Irvin Natras, for those people who are maybe of a certain age, and right all the way up to Laura's favourite Paul Dummett. So stay tuned for that later on this month. And Laura's got her notes ready, so everything's fine. You might recognise Scott from if you follow the channel and if you are involved in Football Manager. Scott is currently doing a little project for us. Scott, do you want to explain a little bit more about the project that you're doing for Gallowgateshots? A little endeavour that you are involved in, mimicking Eddie Howe. Go on, go for it. Tell us what's happening.
So basically, what we did, for those that haven't watched it, I imported all of the fixtures as real life kind of had them set up, and then all the results up to the 31st of December, thinking that it actually was going to be a bit of a struggle in real life, so to see how hard it would actually be. Took over from Newcastle on the 31st of December and been playing the games 2 a week. I think we're on episode 5 now, and I'm going to be recording episode 6 over the weekend. I was normally do them on a Thursday, but I think the game last night was a bit more important than playing Football Manager. But yeah, it's been harder than Eddie Howe's found it. I'm telling you that. Been some surprise results. Been some late goals. And some players just will not perform for me. But yeah, one thing we are on is a nice little cup run. So that Cambridge game never happened in Football Manager.
Well, there we go.
Never happened. We beat West Brom 5-0 instead. Ryan Fraser playing a perfect game. If you haven't seen that, it's a little spiral alert, but that's in the first episode. But yeah, they're all up on the channel. They go up early for members as well. So if you aren't a member and you want a sneak preview, get signed up and you can get a little early treat every weekend.
Yep, and just a reminder, they can probably see it along the ticker at the bottom there. It's £2.99 to get involved with the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel for a subscription. Helps us to develop the channel, and one day you may see myself and Laura, Raza even, in glorious 4K, which, I mean, that's got to be worth paying anyway. Do you know what I mean? Warts and all, quite literally. So thank you, Scott. Brilliant. I have had I don't play Football Manager, and I don't play FIFA or anything anymore, but like I started watching it and it is strangely like it's like intoxicating. You're like, go on, because you're like the way that you talk through it, and then I didn't realize you could change little settings like time wasting, and I mean it's a lot different from when I played Championship Manager, where you just had to Google, or not even Google, Alta Vista, a formation, and then just put the formation in and you would just win. So Scott is well on top of that, so definitely worth a watch. So it's been a really interesting week and a fantastic week for Newcastle, but there's obviously been some really controversial issues that have been going on outside of the football club itself. I'm sure everybody's been totally shocked by the disappearance of Toon Pools from Twitter, and then the surprise re-emergence of a mocked up Toon Pools, but then hopefully the triumphant return of Toon Pools. So, Laura, how has the disappearance of Toon Pools affected your life?
Well, I have been following it quite closely today.
I know.
I really have. But no, I'm glad he's back, because what would we have done without a Hall of Fame on a Friday? Exactly.
That's exactly what I was thinking. And I suppose it was a pleasant distraction from probably some more troublesome things that are going on in the world at the minute. So, and I think it was a bit of light relief on NUFC Twitter as well. But also on the same day as Toon Pools was weirdly disappeared from Twitter, out of context, NUFC disappeared as well, which was very upsetting, because I think it was might have been the Dan Byrne video that did it.
Yeah, I've seen that. He's tweeted saying that's what done it, but I didn't see the video. What was it?
Oh, Scott, have you seen that one?
Yeah, it was the header from the halfway line, right back into the box. Yeah. It was repeated over and over again over Burn Baby Burn, which it's great, but you can't be posting clips of the Premier League. Unfortunately, they'll take you down in a heartbeat. It's a shame, because stuff like that's just makes the internet, doesn't it?
It does.
What started the internet off all those years ago, all those cat videos that people used to watch. Yeah,
exactly. Just makes it all worthwhile. Makes it worth opening that app and seeing what's going on. Absolutely. So, Friday night. Usually, I mean, the last couple of weeks we've been on a Thursday, but we've took a skip from a Thursday because last night, unless you've been living under a rock for the last 48 hours. Newcastle United had an absolutely amazing result last night against Southampton, who also, to be fair, were on a really fantastic run. And we're going to talk about Eddie Howe being manager of the month, but the very teary Ralph Hasenhüttl, he was also up for manager of the month for this month, because actually in that month of February they had an identical record. Scott, do you think that Hasenhüttl lost out on that manager of the month accolade because of that ridiculous light display at the start of every Southampton game?
I mean, it cannot help, can it? I mean, if you kind of get an atmosphere, you cannot fake it. And they still had mascots as well. I don't know if many clubs still have two mascots walking around the grounds. I haven't been to a match for so long.
What are their mascots? I know
they're two dogs. I don't know why. It's like a boy and a girl dog. Because when the brass band came out, because I don't know if you saw that as well, there was not only the light show, but the brass band came out playing when the Saints come off. There there was 2 dogs walking behind them, like obviously people in suits, not just a bloke walking his dog.
Not in a lead.
And yeah, it was surreal. I was expecting like a big Southampton logo in paper mache and the players to come bursting through like in an NFL game. Like I was expecting that to happen afterwards. It was just so fake. And you can tell the new owners of Southampton want to bring this to the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's worse than goal music, but goal music is close as well.
Yeah, well, exactly. Dan jumps in there with Wolves. I don't know if you saw Ruben Neves' goal. It was an absolute thing of beauty, but it was completely spoiled by that horrific goal music. Like, I mean, please God, never let it happen to us. Hopefully, it never will, but we shall see. Laura, getting into the nitty-gritty of the game, I know you managed to find a consistent stream, which it was so funny watching on Twitter. Say, has anybody got a stream for the Toon game? But you managed to find one. You must have some good Wi-Fi down there in Felon. So, Laura, we were under pressure at the very beginning of the game, but was there any standout performances for you? What did you make of the game, and was it, what was that, seeing that goal by Bruno in real time, like, what was that like? Jesus.
Yeah, well, unexpected. I fully was going I wasn't very vocal about me pessimism like Matty, but I just wasn't really confident. I just thought, just more from not even that it was Southampton or anything, just more for the fact that I can't believe that Newcastle would go 9 games unbeaten in the Premier League this year. So when I seen the team and stuff, I was shocked it was Joe Linton that missed out. Obviously, was his the illness or the injury? I got mixed up.
His was the groin. Right. This is the groin, yeah.
So that was a bit of a shock because I didn't read about that, but the first half I thought, oh God, like it wasn't great. I felt like we were really under pressure. I think we were missing Joe Linton massively in midfield, and they just couldn't get a grip. It was very scrappy, and Southampton were very good, and they were like, Walker Peters was just quick, wasn't he? I mean,
looks a good player.
When he was too quick for Murphy, even though like Murphy's all right, he was just far too quick. And when he clattered into room and got that yellow card, I was like, oh, surely you've been told not to give them any set pieces anywhere near there. But no, I thought when they scored, I was a bit like, oh. But then I also, and I have heard other people say this as well, I wasn't like absolutely gutted because I also believe like, well, it's not going to be a hammering. Like, I believe we will score. So again, it wasn't just like a few weeks ago. It wasn't that long that we were behind. It was straight away. I think it was 7 minutes or 8 minutes. And then I thought the standout performances for me were, well, there's a few, but for me, Willock. And I think it was probably just for that block at the end, and it's just
I mean that was an absolutely incredible block, and Scott, I mean, poor Joe Willock, Jesus, I probably never want to make a tackle like that ever again. I think it looks like Longstaff telling him to get off the metros, doesn't it? So Scott, Laura mentioned there just about this sort of ability to recover when once you go a goal down in the past and we think, oh well, as we go for a pint, might as well sack it off now. But Scott, where do you think that
like
comes
a deck
from?
Of cards, wouldn't it?
Where's that come from?
Belief. It's hope, it's just, instead of previous regimes where even under the even under Rafa, sometimes he'd be pretty vocal in his interviews going, look, this team isn't good enough. And that cannot be good for the players to hear that. Howe's coming and he's just like, yeah, we will play to the best of our ability, and whatever that is, that's what you're going to get. And we're going to train that way. And I think it's a breath of fresh air for everyone. And I think for the old hats that have been at the club for maybe 6 years, like your Shelveys, like your Haydens, they'll be looking at that going, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
This is how you're supposed to play for this team. And I think just embodying the whole spirit of the club, the way that the back staff want them to play. I mean, it speaks 1,000 words on the pitch. Like, you can see they're bleeding for the shirt almost. I mean, well, Shaw was for the past few weeks. He's bandaged up everywhere. Every week.
Is he auditioning to be James Bond or something, or like the next?
I mean,
Jason
he's got the
Bourne,
looks, so I mean, just needs the.
To be fair, he has got the looks, and he has got the package. To be fair, I would imagine anyway. So Laura, so the spirit that the guys are showing, and I think that's probably epitomised a lot by. I mean, to be fair, all the players are completely committed, but I mean, Dan Burn. Sorry, Scott, to just block you out there. If I was just put your head to the side, there we go. Laura, obviously it's been spoken about. Dan Burn, Bernie, as we like to call him in the Gallowgate end. Borny. He's had a porn.
They all call him all the older men, don't it? Dan Born.
Like Borny. Laura, how impressed have you been with Burn, and is he in with a shout with England? Dare I say it?
Well, I'm massively impressed. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, quite an underwhelming signing, just in terms of, like, he wasn't just personally like me, like, I didn't expect him to be anywhere like in the hat, if that's what you want to call it. But since he's come in, he's so solid, like so impressive, so comfortable. The blocks that he was putting in last week and like last night as well, it was just, he's just a brick wall, isn't he? Like, he's just it's just great to see. And I think obviously it helps that he's local and he supports us and he's always wanted to play for us. And I just think he's been a breath of fresh air and a massive surprise to everyone, I would say. I can't imagine everyone thought that he was going to be this good. There might have been some people that knew of him and was like, no, he'll come in, he'll do good. I bet you nobody expected him to be this solid and this good and to gel so well. Like the defense, just like I wrote, like, as I was watching it, I knew we were doing it today and my memory is shocking, so like I was like quickly noting things down. So like my notes are in like chronological order. So like 1 minute I've got Shelvey's knackered, there's too many high performances, and a minute later I was like, wow, what a ball from Shelvey to make the goal. Like, and then I forgot the point I was trying to make about Burn. I went off on a tangent, but just really, that was it, about like target as well. Like, they're all so comfortable on the ball, and it's just like such a, I think I've said breath of fresh air twice now. Just like such a surprise, and it's just nice to see that we're not just hoofing it and we're not just panicking and just whacking long balls. Like, it's just great to believe in your defense and not be like panicking every time they get the ball. Although, was it Bruno that did another bloody, like, he was fannying on in the box again? I was like absolutely panicking. But it was, in answer to your actual question, I've been very impressed with Ben.
Thank you, Laura.
Yeah,
Scott, just picking up on what Laura was saying there about Dan Burn and the way that he's kind of fitted into the team. I was always of the belief that Fabian Shaw wasn't really able to play in a 4 at the back. He wasn't able to play in that 2 because he goes off a little bit. But have you been surprised by Shaw's ability to play in a back 4? And do you think there is an influence of Burn and his communication skills?
I think the player's always been there with Shaw, and I think he's went missing over the past 8 to 10 months before kind of Howe came in and kind of installed what he wanted to play. I think Dan Burn has a lot to do with it. I think Trippier has had a lot to do with it in the games he's played with him as well, because he'll be right next to him on that flank. But if I'm being honest with you, I think it's more down to Eddie Howe in the training and the drills that he has them doing. I mean, I was over last month and I was at the Villa game, and I noticed that the back 4 was separate from the rest of the team before the match, and they were just throwing balls at them and they were clearing the lines one at a time. You were just throwing it to each one. You never saw that any time with Bruce, and I just think it was just And it showed in the game, like you saw, one would come forward to get the ball, the other would be covering. So I think a lot of it maybe isn't Shaw's adapting to the role. It's the entire back line are adapting to a back four as opposed to a back five.
Yeah. Just speaking about being able to adapt, I mean, I listened to the game, so you only get, you're getting a partial view of the game, but thinking about being able to adapt, and I think for historically, even, before Steve Bruce and, Benitez to an extent, and then, going into Pardew, and for me, Newcastle have really struggled in the past to adapt mid-game, not necessarily just at half-time, getting 20 minutes in and thinking, oh, shit, this isn't going how it should be. Did any of you two sort of see that there was we looked at how Southampton were attacking and we made little sort of, adaptations where Jacob Murphy actually dropped back in and we almost played more of a 5 just to sort of cope with that, what Southampton were doing and being able to adapt. I mean, Laura, does it show, does it really emphasize Eddie Howe's tactical ability to be able to look at those things and just change them in game? It's amazing.
That's what I was going to say. When you were like mid, I was thinking of like what it could be, and without going too much, like repeating what Scott was saying, I do think everything is down to how, like, I don't know if I'm making this up, but I'm sure I've seen, well, I'm not making this next bit about when Bruce said he's something, what was it, man? He couldn't change it he couldn't change formation or something mid-game or whatever he said.
Yeah.
They're
not the players aren't. He would basically put on the players and say that they're not adaptable.
Yeah, they can't do that. Well, I just think every situation on the training ground would have been thought out. Right, right? If Southampton do this, we're going to do that. If we are struggling in midfield, we're going to do that. If we go 1-0 down, I just think every situation and every outcome would have been thought of that in the lead up to that game in training, so that the players, and we've seen it before, and we've seen on Twitter, and we've seen everyone's opinion, everyone knows their job and knows their role and knows what to do in different situations, rather than just panic and shut up shop and go defensive, which is what
I think it was Jacob Murphy last week in his interview said, in training we went to say, what happens if they go down to 10 men?
Yes,
like we worked on that in training. It was against Brentford, so 2 weeks ago. But he was like, we've worked on this in training, and I was like, what? Like, obviously, you work on it maybe once every couple of weeks or once a month or something, but not for each game. Like, this is how you attack it. But and how we adapted in that game yesterday, you just need to look at Ward Prowse. That first half, he was dominating. That kind of pocket in front of our defenders, and he was completely anonymous for most of the second half. Like, we dealt with him. We dealt with him. Howe saw what was going on. He tried to make the change. You could see him on the sidelines through the first half, and there was a little bit of change towards the end, slightly just before our goal, I feel. But we came out the second half, and that, he just, I can't even remember him getting much of the ball. His corners were quite poor as well yesterday, actually, for his standard. I mean, that was to our benefit, of course.
I mean, without getting too far ahead of ourselves, which we are prone to do on this podcast, but does it make you think, Laura, like, without being disrespectful to some of the players that we do have,
I know what you're going to say,
that are doing a great job for us, like Kraft, Murphy. Murphy gets a lot of stick and his decision making is poor, but
I did write that down yesterday. Was getting
there has been a notable improvement in all of these types of players' contributions to the game, but without getting too far ahead of ourselves, because we live in a very unstable world at the moment. But does it really whet your appetite for what will Eddie Howe do with the next level of player that potentially we, in the summer, it looks like, without count my chickens too much, that we are safe, but what will Eddie Howe do with some really genuinely world-class elite players in certain positions that were being severely lacking? Laura, are you excited by that prospect?
Very excited, and I am dying to see 11 players that are all Eddie Howe's choice and all being trained by Eddie Howe, rather than having to improve what was already there, which again, don't mean to be disrespectful. They've been amazing. They've what's that word? Exceeded all of our expectations.
Completely.
But yeah, it is very exciting, and I hope that Eddie Howe gets the chance to do that, and I think he will. And I don't mean to go down that road of like when he leaves, because God, I'm loving having him here. But I hope he does get.
I feel like I've been really emotional if he leaves. Like, go Eddie.
I'll be worse than Rafa. I know that for a fact. I'll be devastated. He's been, and I think we talked about this the other week, but he has been like, we'll remember him forever for being like the beginning of the future. Like, he's just wow. Like,
it's been really transformative, really, isn't it?
Yeah, completely.
Kind of getting into the game, I know, Scott, you had the benefit of some Dutch commentary, which I'm not sure whether you understood completely, but they do like to slip in the odd English word every now and again. Apart from the obvious, I mean, we'll discuss Bruno in a moment, but any performances that you were really impressed by and that really made an impact on you and what you felt about that game last night?
Yeah, I think considering it was his first start in the Premier League, Bruno did very well. Not just obviously because of the goal that he scored, but he was wanting the ball. You could see the type of player that he is, and you could see what's going to excite with for the next 5 years, hopefully, if he sticks around. He was just getting the ball everywhere, and he was just looking. Before the ball was getting to his feet, you could see he was like, right, there's a player over there, and he's going to get this ball. And we haven't had a player like that for such a long time. And it kind of got me going, wow, okay, this guy's going to be the business. Once he finds his feet in the Premier League. There were a few straight passes, and I think that was more him expecting of our players to make runs that our players wouldn't think of doing. And I think St. Maximin can sometimes be a bit of he can sometimes do that as well with passes. Like he'll play a passing, but there'll be no one there. But he's like, well, why aren't you running there? Because that's what I would expect a world-class player to do. Again, no disrespect, but some of our players aren't world-class, or a lot of our players aren't world-class. I think also, to shadow what Laura said, Willock had an outstanding game. I've never really rated Willock on his defensive abilities. It's always been his going forward, but I think he was solid.
He was outstanding.
I think that's down to Eddie Howe or the team would have said to them, look, we haven't got Joe Linton, so we haven't got this barrier that's coming up in front of this good midfield. We're going to need to dig deep and actually act as almost like a three kind of solid line in front of the defense to help. And that also did show the one criticism I had of Willock was he was a bit too far away from Chris Wood. Chris Wood was winning every ball that was getting played to him long. There was no one there running off him, no one there near him at all. And it was just either going to their keeper or their defense were mopping it up. And I think that Willock, I think rightly so, couldn't get close enough to Wood to make those runs. And that was because of the defensive work he had to do because Joe Linton wasn't on the pitch.
Yeah. Laura, just a word on Chris Wood. I mean, if I go to Twitter there, Statman Dave. I mean, Chris Wood's contribution is been very clear for me. I think he's been an excellent player just without that goal. And Laura, do you think we can expect a few more goals from Chris Wood in this next few periods? The next few games that we've got coming up.
Oh, maybe not Sunday, but I think.
Well, you never know.
No, I think I'm so glad he got his first goal because he needed it. Not even for like the fans, really, just more for him because I think everyone's kind of on the same page. I haven't seen many people criticizing him for not scoring because obviously we all are watching him and we've seen the stats and we've seen what he's doing. And I know we're going to touch on it a bit, but Trippier, what he said on True Georgie as well, like that was very telling to me. Like he was kind of defending him. It was as if Trippier had heard or read or whatever what people had been saying about him not getting a goal, and he kind of went to his defence, which I thought was really nice, like saying like, we know what he's doing for the team, like he's been amazing, he'll get the goals, don't worry. But even when he's not getting the goals, he's like making those runs, making those balls. So yeah, hopefully now that he's got his first one, that he'll get the rest. But I also just to be a bit controversial, I only think that we're all praising him and saying like how well he's doing because we're winning. Like if we weren't winning and he wasn't scoring, I think it would be a completely different story.
Yeah, well, that's the lot of a striker, isn't it? That's the way that it goes, you know. And Dan was saying there on about him being, he's a streaky player, and for me, you know, he has done that. You know, he does the donkey work. He's committed. He runs, but at the end of the day, he's not a killer. You know, he's not a 20 goal a season killer, which is what we need. I mean, but to be fair to Chris Wood, and I think I was listening to something today where, you know, regardless of where we are right now, but I think probably in a couple of years' time we'll be like, you know, Chris Wood was a good servant for us. He got with the goals when we needed it. Just to come back to something that Geordie Toon for life. Where is he? There he is. Just a little discussion point about our Alan and whether he is actually an Eddie Howe type of player. Is he a team player? Is he, you know? I mean, for me, I feel like Alan St. Maximum he's on a bit of a. Obviously, I haven't seen his career before he came to Newcastle, but I feel he's on a bit of a crossroads. Maybe at the end of the season, where does he buy into the Eddie Howe way of the team is the key, or is he going to be this individual talent? And are we going to see like another player who has the world at his feet, quite literally, but then doesn't quite live up to what we expect? And, you know, Scott, do you think that ASM is going to be I don't want to say a problem, but is he going to be that player that is going to continue to be divisive? And is he going to last at Newcastle, do you think, under Eddie Howe?
I mean, you'd love to think so, because, I mean, on his day, he's unplayable, right? He's the Tino of this generation. I think I think True Geordie said that as well, but it really is like he's that one player that you would pay money just to see him if he was performing week in, week out. In terms of whether he's an Eddie Howe player, I'm not sure on that. I don't really know too much on Eddie Howe other than what I've seen in Newcastle. I will say he is absolutely not a Rafa Benitez player. And when people were calling for Rafa Benitez to get the Newcastle job, I was saying, you bring in Rafa, you get rid of St. Maximum, because he would have him benched. He would have him playing with the under-23s because, you know, it's a team game. I do think maybe St. Maximum has the potential to annoy other players, though. When you see players giving their all like they did last night, I think if St. Maximum's on that pitch and he's, you know, rolling around on the floor, not just getting up and trying to get the ball back, arguing with the referee, I think some of the players might turn on him. I'd like to think that won't happen because of the mentality that's set in. But if that's happening week in, week out, I mean, you know, if you ever kind of, you know, play football with the lads and the lasses, and there's those two players that, you know, they always turn up hungover and they're always kind of, you know, just treating it, you know, not as serious as other people. Maybe it gets to the point where they become the talking point because they're the ones that aren't pulling their weight. And I think for this team, as it is at the moment, to progress, everyone has to be pulling in the right direction. I think maybe in a couple of years' time, if St. Maximum is still here, I mean, the players that he'll have around him will probably help him be more flamboyant, be more of the player that he wants to be. But right now, I mean, he's potentially trying to run before he can walk with this team.
Yeah. Laura, just picking up on a couple of things that obviously Scott has said there, but also a couple of the comments as well. I don't know about you, but I think we do have as a supporter base, and we have probably for that since he signed, we have Alan St. Maximum on a bit of a pedestal where he's been the shining light, he's been my best player. But again, without the temptation of getting too far ahead of ourselves, next season, the transfer window could be very interesting for Newcastle, and there could be players of a much higher quality coming in, and he might not be that focal point or that standout player. And how do you think Alan St-Maximum's going to feel about that? Is he going to get on the ride and stay with it, or is he going to want to leave? What do you think?
I hate this subject because he just divides opinions so much, doesn't he? Which is crazy because he's absolutely brilliant, and I'm not denying the fact that he's absolutely a brilliant footballer. And I know, like, if that guy watches this back, like, he'll be like clenching his fists and absolutely livid that we're even having the conversation. And as well, like, with things that happened a couple of weeks ago, I'm very wary of what I say because I'm not like, I didn't want to be lynched on Twitter either. But I think I've made it clear on a few podcasts, like, he frustrates the life out of us. Like, he does me as in. But
Laura, I think even, I mean, not wanting to speak, I think even Decker, or I think even other fans would be like, everybody knows what level Alan St-Maximum is, and then there is another level after that, and another level after that. Like, we all see the potential, but like, I don't think it's unfair to say, like, there are better players out there, and there are better players who would fit into this system. But it's just whether, like, I think, speaking for myself, I would like, if Alan St-Maximum is continued to be our best player because he upped his game and he moved with the club and moved with Eddie Howe and moved with the players we're saying, then we'd all be delighted, wouldn't we?
Yeah, but me personally, and obviously I don't know him personally, but from what I see and from what I'm judging, I don't think he is that player that would move with the times. I think he would massively spit his dummy out. However, I don't think that he's top of my list to replace with a better player. I think there's way more other positions that we could improve and then see what he's like. Like Scott said earlier about with the other players around him making those passes and things like that. Like, I would rather see better players around him than get a better player than him in, if you know what I mean. Like,
no, I completely understand that. Yeah,
but yeah, he does do me head in, and he winds us up massively.
I think, to kind of balance that, Lee makes a good point, about being ungrateful about ASM and what he did for the team when we were shit, to be fair. Like the Southampton game last season, Sheffield United, he has, like I said at the beginning of this kind of bit about ASM, and he has
under Bruce, he carried us. Like, Bruce, never mind us putting him on a pedestal. Bruce put him on a pedestal. I think as well, I think I've spoken about it before, but I think Bruce is ASM's type of manager. Let him do what he wants, blah, blah, blah. Going back to the Howe, I personally, from what I've seen, don't think Howe would put up with his shit. So I don't know how much he would like. But we also then said that about Shelvey. We were like, Shelvey's going to die. Shelvey's going to have a mare with Howe.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody's going to Shelvey.
I think many people, including myself, have got egg on the face about Jonjo Shelvey. So I'm quite happy to wipe that off and accept it as it was. Like, because he's, I mean, on a weird on Jonjo Shelvey's been, I mean, Scott, Jonjo Shelvey.
We're finally getting the Swansea Jonjo Shelvey we all thought we were going to be getting, right? I mean, I think he's a man reborn.
I think he's better than that.
Yeah, he is. He really is. I mean, going back to the match yesterday, that ball he played in for Wood's goal, he must be 35, 40 yards out when he plays that cross. And I think, in the post-match part of that, the recorded last night, that guy was like, it came from nothing. Like, he just picked the ball up and he just saw the run. He did that all the time in the Championship with Dwight Gale. Dwight Gale would just run and Shelvey like, I'm going to put the ball there, make sure you're there. And that's how Gale got most of his goals in that Championship season, because Shelvey was providing them. And we all thought, well, that's the league of Shelvey, because he come up with the Premiership the season after and it tailed off again. He didn't do what he was doing. But I mean, going back to that word, hope and belief, I mean,
hope,
it's just been installed in him, hasn't it? But it has. It's just been installed in him from Eddie Howe. And you can see, I think he's also, from a personal level of him, he's proven people wrong. Like, everyone's like, oh, Jonjo Shelvey is lazy. He doesn't run. He just plays the Hollywood passes. I mean, last night he was tracking back with the rest of them. Like, it was great to see.
I thought it was
back role that he
sorry.
plays.
I thought was because, again, like in my chronological notes, I'd said that he was knackered. He looked knackered. He kept, like, he gave the ball away, and was it for their goal or just a chance?
Yeah, it was for the goal.
And I was like, oh, he's knackered. But then in game, he transformed. Never mind just in training and then over the past couple of weeks. In that game, he was having a bit of a mare. I think we said it in the group chat. Shelvey's struggling here, and then all of a sudden he turned around, and I think even that is a transformation in itself for Shelvey to do that and have that mentality to do that within a game.
I mean, I think with Shelvey, with certain players that it all looks like they want to be on the ride next season, and they're playing for their futures. And I think we've got to remember that it's really important that we don't change too quickly. I think shipping a raft. I think we all probably everyone could probably name 7 players that will probably leave in the summer, but like, you don't want to rock that boat too soon. You don't want to get rid of Alan Saint-Maximin, Jonjo Shelvey necessarily. Like, yes, we're going to evolve, but I think it's important that evolution is gradual. It can't be this, right, we're going to get rid of all these players and we're going to just, because you can't keep that cohesion, can you? Another player that's he came back in the side and he had a bit of a wobbly time. I think a lot of that, from my opinion, was down to who he was playing behind. But I mean, Dúbravka, I mean, he's barely had anything to do, and when he has had something to do, I mean, Scott, that save last night. Well, actually, there was a couple of saves. The first one from Salisu, probably say that wrong, but the second save as well. Like, he's shown his value.
It wasn't just the save; it was where he got the ball to after making the save. Like, the Dúbravka of old, dare I say, would maybe have palmed that into the path of another player, and they would have scored.
And they were on him as well, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, he threaded it through a needle. Like, if that was a pass from Bruno or from someone, you'd be waxing lyrical about it. Like, the way he just made that ball, it just seemed to go around all the opposition players, and it just got to one of our men. I can't remember who picked it up. It was, I mean, I was saying quite a bit before, like, the January transfer window, like, you improve the players in front of Dúbravka, you improve Dúbravka.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's apparent because, I mean, it's not that he's becoming this better keeper overnight. He's got less to do. He's facing less shots. I mean, we're keeping clean sheets. Like, that's obviously we didn't yesterday, but against Brentford and against Villa, clean sheets. I mean, and Leeds as well. It's, if you said to me in December you're going to keep some clean sheets next year, I'd be like, yeah, right. No, we're always going to concede at least 1 or 2. Yeah. Maybe we'll score more if we get better players in, but that defense has always been a bit leaky. I think also with Dúbravka, I mean, he had a stinker of a Euros, and I think that was a shadow over him quite a bit at the start of the season. Keepers make mistakes, and then you'll normally find they'll make another mistake pretty close to that because it's in the back of their mind. If they don't, they get over it. And then they move on. And I think that's what's happened with Dúbravka. He's got over his mistakes in the Euros. And by the way, a mistake against your national side is probably a lot worse than for your club.
Yeah, it's got to be damaging.
It's not just the local fans who are against you, it's the entire country that you're representing. So I think he's over that now. I'm not going to say he's never going to make another mistake again, but he seems a lot more, steady-headed in the fact that when he's going for balls, when he's playing it, he's actually like focusing on what he needs to do. His distribution still needs work, but that's probably always going to be something about his game. Yeah, there was a couple of balls late on in the game yesterday where he would clear the ball out and there'd be no one there. It would just be going to a
Did you see that one where he went to play it early, but there was nobody there because everyone was back? And I was like, oh my God, what are you throwing it out for when everyone's back with you?
Yeah. I mean, looking forward to next season and where we could be. I think like it would be a miss if we didn't mention the outstanding goal. And without ripping off Disney too much, talking about Bruno, Laura, did your eyes pop out of your head when you saw that goal for the second time?
What happened was, obviously, my dad is not computer savvy, so he couldn't watch it. So when he can't watch it, no,
I thought he was the bionic man.
I can't believe he commented on this earlier. I didn't know he knew how to. But yeah, so when he can't watch it, he puts his phone off, like he turns it like the other way, doesn't want to hear. But when Bruno scored that goal, obviously I live on my own. It was just one of those goals, just that you want to share with someone and you just want to celebrate with someone. So I rang him. And he was absolutely livid because that I rang him and I was like, I just need to tell you about this goal. It's the best goal I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was Bruno, and it was just absolutely like the audacity to even try.
Outrageous, wasn't it?
But no, absolutely. And the fact that it was Ben that headed it to him as well, just to make, you couldn't write it, could you? All of the players that were involved.
You could almost hear Ralph Hasenhüttl's heart breaking.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say I can't pronounce his name, so I just didn't bother.
Old Ralphie, old Hasenhüttl.
Ralph.
Was it there?
I think for Bruno's goal, we haven't had a player who would even attempt that since Cisse.
Yeah.
Like Cisse was that type of player who'd be like, I can probably score from here, and you just whack a ball and it would go in.
Yeah.
Like for Bruno to even think I'm going to hit this ball, I mean, yeah, it was the same. I've got a friend who's a Lyon fan. And he was gutted when Bruno signed for us. And I sent him a link to a clip of that goal last night, just with the words "thank you" underneath. And he's he's not too happy. He's not too happy that he's lost that player.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, like what Freddie said. I'm getting wrong.
Calling out, mate.
I don't know what he's saying. That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Don't know.
Well, I don't know if anybody follows at Macca J Elliott, but he tried to break the internet today with an upload of his knee. I used to sit next to Malcolm at the match, and I remember the game after he'd had his knee fixed. He was like the bionic man. He was like Steve Austin. He was like up and down. But he uploaded a before and after picture. Oh, sorry, it wasn't actually a before. It was a during. So imagine the Terminator in Terminator 2 sliced open and some metal shit going on, and then afterwards, Malcolm in a pair of shorts. So follow Laura's dad if you want to see a little bit more of that. So it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So kind of moving on from the Southampton game, I suppose we didn't really mention, just a really quick one, that video of Chris Wood going into the changing rooms, that like, I got all the feels for that, like all the feels. I'm sure even Laura, even you with your cold heart, I'm sure you even, No,
I've got a cold heart, apart from when it comes to like football. What was it? We were at the gym the other day and people were talking about this film or something that they cried at, and I was like, I didn't cry. Like, what did you cry for? Like, and then
Schindler's List. Oh, yeah. Who would cry at that?
No, it wasn't that. No, you know what it was? Sing 2. So whoever's seen Sing 2, something sad must happen. And
I've seen Sing 2, and
they got emotional at some point, and I was
like, to a degree, but yeah.
And then
not the first 10 minutes of Up, is it?
But I haven't seen that either. But no, football's the only thing that would make me like tear up slightly. But so where? Just explain to us, where would have been? Why was he last interviews and things?
Yeah, well, I think he got
was it like because it felt like a surprise party, like everybody knew, and like everyone was planning, he's coming. Yeah. That's what it felt like, because everyone was in there and then he just went in last.
No, I think
it was lovely.
Yeah, I mean, he did an interview on the pitch after the game, so I'm presuming
he said touch wood, that was good.
That he just came in. He came in later on, but yeah, it was really heartwarming to see. I really enjoyed that. So, kind of moving on really quickly. I know we'll get. Chris likes me to keep within an hour, but we'll just keep going. It doesn't matter. Very briefly.
It's dead late in Amsterdam,
Massive congratulations to Eddie Howe. and his team for Win Manager of the Month. And there's a beautiful picture of Eddie Howe with the rest of his coaching staff. And I like Graham Jones. Looks like he's on holiday in Benidorm, doesn't he? He looks like he's on Benaz. He's literally living his best life. But just if you zoom in on the picture, you can see that you got Ralph Hasenhüttl's tears there in the picture there. But without being cruel to Steve Bruce, do you think there's any contrast in the two managers? Do you think, or how much credit, Scott, do the coaching staff deserve? It's clearly been a team effort. That is obviously Eddie Howe's number one priority, is the team.
I mean, his backroom staff, if you believe the reports, are the reason why he's not at Celtic right now, because they wanted more money and they didn't want to go. So he was like, "Well, I'm not going without them." And I think that's what a lot of people forget. It's like, it isn't just a manager; it's an entire team of people. Whether it's your assistant manager or the first team coaches, goalkeeping coaches, a lot. We've still got a lot of the old hats, I think, for the goalkeeping side of things, still at the club. It's absolutely a team. It's not a one man band. He's just the one who takes the flak when it goes wrong and gets the plaudits when it goes bad and when it goes good. And he has shared those plaudits, even in his comments and everything that he does. It's just stark contrast. You feel like Bruce, well, that picture says it all. But to be honest, if you look at a lot of the Manager of the Month awards, it's always the manager on their own. There's never the team behind them. So, you've got to give credit to Eddie Howe for wanting to share that. Because a lot of people are like, well, no, this is my award. I'm the manager. I'm manager. But the other thing is, I mean, the term manager now, like, it isn't what it is back when, we had Keegan and Bobby Robson managers for us. It is, you are literally just a coach. You're the head coach. And the management side of it is done by other team. Obviously, we don't have that infrastructure in right now. It's coming, you'd like to think. But no, absolutely. I think Eddie Howe, he deserves the award 100%. But the fact that he's called out his backroom staff, sings 1,000 songs about Eddie Howe.
And speaking of Eddie Howe, and I think, Eddie Howe's obviously, he's been a real transformative influence over the team, but also what I really love is, his office. He's got a great office. I mean, look at all those pictures of the tune behind, and
it's like absolute.
What can I say? The man's got good taste. When I saw that picture today, I was like, has Eddie Howe got his own little tune room? Is that what's going on? Like, is that what's going on? But yes, I mean, let's drink that picture in of that. The lads after the Southampton game. He's obviously such a soul for bringing people together, and the belief in the team is paramount. So I think it's well deserved. I was a bit disappointed that Ryan Fraser didn't get Player of the Month as well. I think that went to Joel Matip at the end, but Joel Matip's he's done well. Give him his dues. So just before we kind of wrap up, we've got a few little bits and bobs to discuss. Chelsea looming on the horizon. A lot of controversy around Chelsea at the moment. I think, obviously, with what's going on in the Ukraine and Abramovich's links to Putin and to the Russian regime, and it's a really weird time for football. And I think I was talking with our last before we came on about, like, it gives you a lot of perspective about things, and what's really important, and what's peripheral, and what's really, really vital for people. But without getting too kind of far into it, and do you think, Laura, that the recent events, obviously it didn't affect them during the game against Norwich. I think it came away with a 2-1 or a 3-1 comfortable win. what should we expect when we go to Chelsea on Sunday? Is it a siege mentality there, or are they a little bit vulnerable? You know, what are you expecting from Chelsea?
I think I was trying to choose my words carefully when I say this, and I don't mean this disrespectfully in any way, or like I don't mean this to like sound awful, but from our point of view, I think over the next couple of days, I mean, just today about a couple of more things have come out, and a couple of more sponsors or banks or whatever, something's happened, and I think every day something new is going to come up. All the focus is on them, the spotlight is on them, and as much as Tuchel wants to say that it's not affecting them and they just do what they do on the pitch, which they did last night, but the preparation was probably already done for Norwich when all this came around. So it is, without sounding too disrespectful, a good time, I would say, to play them, because whether they like it or not, they're all going to have other things on their mind, and it is going to affect them whether they like it or not, or whether so. But in terms of like our team and stuff, I don't know, will Eddie Howe keep the same, because he's very much like we've been banging on about for the past hour, how much he's a very like not a nice person, that I don't mean that, but a good manager, and he likes to keep a winning team, and if they perform well and deserve their place, they will then keep their place. So will he keep it again for Sunday and then change it maybe against Everton next Thursday? I don't know.
I mean, he's shown that he can be ruthless, and you know, so it looks like Alan St-Maximin Posse hasn't travelled with the team, but Scott, would you expect to see any changes from the Southampton game? Would you expect Joe Linton possibly to come back in just to give us a bit more steel, perhaps? Which is weird to be saying about Joe Linton, but that just tells you what a transformation that guy's had.
I think if Joe Linton's fit, he plays.
Yeah,
I think especially with Bruno coming off around 60 minutes with a knock.
Yeah,
you don't want to risk him, and you've got another one of your new signings, you know, croaked for however many months or whatever. So I think if Joe Linton's fit, he definitely starts for me. I think the only other player you'd maybe look at, and it's nice to see him get a little run out yesterday, is Manquillo. I think he would be a better starter over Kraft against Chelsea.
He's got a bit more. I mean, although Kraft's he's no slow coach. Kraft, Manquillo he's rapid.
Defensively, Manquillo's better. I think we can all agree on that one. And I think that's what we're going to need, because, you know, although off the field they're all potentially in a downward spiral, and, you know, I don't think they're ever going to really repeat what they've done in the past with new owners, because that's what they're going to need. And although at the minute they can't even sell the club, you know, I think that the players on that pitch aren't really going to care, because it's not going to affect them much. There's still going to be fans in the crowd because the tickets have already been sold. You know, we will probably be the last away fans at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, that is
although maybe it's that next game, the tickets might have already been sold. But I think, you know, I was reading or listening to something the day where they can gift 10% of the away tickets. So they could still potentially have players in there, have fans in there in the away end. Won't be a full allocation though. But yeah, back to the original question. I think Joe Linton plays definitely if he's fit, and then possibly Manquillo, and possibly I could see him switching to a back five, and maybe he's dropping Shelvey or Willock just to kind of reassure the back five, because Chelsea could.
Who comes in there? Is that Lascelles? Do you think? Is that a natural fit?
I think it'd be Lascelles, Sean Byrne. Yeah, I don't know if he'd want to change a winning formation, and if it was me, I wouldn't. But it's Chelsea. Like,
and I guess you don't know
the best team in the world if you look at it from the kind of the winning the Champions League.
What knocks, what physical state the players are in, what knocks we have, and so you've just got to. Speaking personally for myself, like I trust in what Eddie Howe's gonna, the team he's gonna pick and who's gonna be there.
Was it Chelsea that he did that interview about in Bournemouth with all the countdowns?
Yes, it was. I was watching that today. I think that every Newcastle fan watched on the eve of him being appointed.
I thought it was Chelsea.
So while we're talking about Chelsea, then we'll get some predictions. Scott, as you're the exalted guest this evening, all the way from Amsterdam. So can I get a prediction from you? What do you think is going to happen this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 4-3 Newcastle.
Yes.
No, that's a callback to the Football Manager.
I absolutely didn't expect that, by the way.
I do think we'll get beat. I think it could be a scrappy 1-0. I just think Chelsea have that extra level of quality that we haven't yet faced.
Right.
But yeah, as Geordie Toon for Life just said there, they do have a Champions League game, which I think the players might have to buy their own plane tickets because they can only spend 20 grand on travel.
Yeah, that
should be interesting to see what happens there.
That is crazy. Wow. I mean, one of the lads in the comments there, I think it was, I'm trying to think now, put in that they've just been, I think it was Tom Lynch had said that the bank account's been suspended at Barclays, which is, I mean, I've had that happen to me, but that was after a night in the big market. So I think we're in slightly different financial areas, but like it's completely up in the air. Like what is going on?
Once this starts to hit the players in their pockets, that's when you'll start seeing an effect on the field. When they start having to pay for their own stuff, and I think someone says they can't even put fuel in the team bus. And Abramovich hasn't got private jets in this country because they've all been seized. So I mean, I don't know how Chelsea are going to get to their away games other than players jumping in their 4x4s and driving up themselves, which fuel prices are through the roof as well.
It's like playing for the Queen's Heat on Beaconloft Bank. Jesus, man, crazy. So Scott, you're going to go with a defeat. You think that the run's going to come to an end?
Yeah, unfortunately, Laura, I don't think it's going to affect her as it would have done in the past.
Yeah. I think that's worth saying. Definitely, I think from these 3 games that we've had coming up, I think a lot of people would have taken 4 points from that, and we've already got 3. So, Laura, what's your expectation for tomorrow? For Sunday, on 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't want to end it on a bad note, but I do agree with Scott. I do think our unbeaten run is going to come to an end. However, I don't like exactly what I was going to say, what Scott said. I don't think it'll affect us, and I don't think it'll knock our confidence or anything like that, because no one's really expecting it. Expecting to get anything. I was saying to my dad today, I expected 0 points from the next 2 games from last night and Sunday. I really did. So now 3 points is an absolute bonus for me. The only thing as well I would say is I agree with Scott as well. I don't think it will be a hammering like it would be in the past, like where we dread playing the bigger teams because we'll be it's going to be awful.
We basically turn up and get our bellies tickled.
And it's going to be horrible to watch and stuff. Like I'm genuinely still, even though it's Chelsea, looking forward to sitting down and watching it. And to see what Eddie does with a big team like Chelsea away. So no, I'm looking forward to it. I do think we'll get beat, which is weird. And I think it'll be like 2-1. I think we'll score. So maybe 2-1 to them and we score, yet it doesn't matter. In Twitter, don't go into a meltdown because it's fine.
And I suppose just as a bit of a side note, I mean, with having these games Thursday, Sunday, the team are staying down in London. And a lot of Newcastle fans, I mean, 3,300 Newcastle fans at Southampton on a Thursday night at the beginning of March. I mean, an outstanding effort. I mean, even those fans who came from London or, down south, I mean, Southampton's not an easy place to get to. But, and those fans who are going to stay on and go to the Chelsea game as well, like a sellout again. Do we get that anywhere else in the country? Like, I know obviously we're on an upward trajectory at the moment, but even back in the day when we're getting hammered, humped, rolled over, bellies tickled, we were still getting those types of numbers on away games. Like, how inspirational must that be for the players? It's ridiculous.
I mean, Southampton couldn't even fill their home ground last night.
Yeah.
Like, that says everything. It's a Thursday night, I get it. But if we had all their seats available, that stadium would have been full.
Yeah.
Regardless of how the distance, and it's week in, week out, and it's an absolute credit to all the everyone who goes see the away games. I don't know how they do it and keep a job because you almost have any holidays left by the end of it.
Yeah, Absolutely incredible. Shout to Jay Wouk. I don't even know Jay Wouk if I'm saying that right, but I'm loving the positivity, and especially from Grant there as well. 3-0 to Eddie's Mags. So a lot to look forward to, hopefully. I'll be on a train back from Aberdeen, likely very hungover. I'll have my iPad out and I'll be watching that game live. So hopefully we get a really positive result. I feel like we're going to win. Fuck it. Yeah, we're going to win. Why not?
Why not?
But again, if we don't win, again, I think there's a lot of people in the comments are like, we don't feel like that's going to just absolutely ruin the season or it's going to ruin everything. I think we've got to be, yes, we're on a good run, but we've got to be realistic about who we are, where we are, and, the place that we're in. So we'll take Jay Walk's positivity every step of the way. So just to finish off, I think we've pretty much covered everything. I'm
Can
sure
I
there's
just
other
say?
stuff. Go on, Laura. Go for it.
I'm happy to end now. We've been going an hour and Chris will kill her. But everything you told me to talk about and everything that I made notes on, you haven't covered a single one of them. And I've had to think on my feet.
Hold on.
Just keeping in your toes, Laura.
Chelsea away. Howe, manager of the month, yeah.
Right, okay.
Wood goal every entry in the dressing room. Oh, sorry, we didn't talk about Joe Willock's knees.
You
Laura.
didn't talk about the knees, right? You didn't talk about in Milan. You didn't do the Hall of Fame. Didn't do... What else didn't you do?
We can all point out stuff that we didn't do.
Yes,
right.
But I make notes.
Laura.
I've got a very busy life and I had to squeeze this in.
Laura, what are your memories of the Inter Milan game?
Well, I can't remember. I was too young.
You fucking dick. Right.
That's what I wrote down.
There was no Magnums there. That's the only thing I remember.
That's hilarious. Yes. So to touch on what Laura's spat a dummy out about there. Yes, today is the anniversary of that absolutely amazing game at the San Siro where there was 15,000 mags in the Curva Nord, I think it was. Could be wrong. And a great performance in Champions League. And so I think we'll dot a cap to that game. Scott, can you remember watching that game on ITV?
I think I was a bit too young for that one.
Are you two both? How old are you, like?
I'm 37. Maybe I wasn't too young. I don't remember it though.
Too young.
No.
Are you winding me up?
I don't remember it though.
It was great. It was great. It was like, I remember Solano had oh God. But the thing is, those days could be coming back, boys and girls.
That's what I wrote down. I did write down that.
So without getting too excited, but yeah, I mean, that was a glimpse back of like looking like where we could be. So, but that team, Andy Griffin playing right back, brilliant. Andy O'Brien, I'm not sure if Andy O'Brien started that game, but like, if you look at some of the players that we had in that game, I think it just emphasizes the impact that Bobby Robson had on that team and some of the football we played. And it actually featured when Shearer's goal, if you watch it back, Laurent Robert crosses, by the way, Laurent Robert, ridiculous. Robert crosses the ball and he had this thing where he almost pointed as he was kicking the ball. If you watch it again, as he crosses it,
and all the videos were blocked.
He has this body shape where it looks like he's pointing. It was pointing to where he was going to hit it, and then obviously it ricocheted, and then Shearer knocks it in, and then 15,000 Newcastle fans go absolutely Chris Akabusi. So it was so really good to look back and see that this week. So thank you very much for joining us, Laura. Really good to see you again, and I can't wait to see you next week. And we'll talk about the Irish players. You can keep your academy graduates for later. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Scott. Really good to finally get to have you on the podcast and have a good chat with you as well. And ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you have a look if you're into your Football Manager. follow Scott's progress. Whereabouts are you in the league at the moment, Scott?
I'm in 17th because the results around me have been ridiculous. So I'm just outside the relegation zone.
Steve Bruce.
But yeah,
it's the results around us. That's the problem.
I've only just against Tottenham lost a game. So if we can get to Tottenham, we'll be all right.
All right.
But thanks for having us. If you ever need us again, you know where I am.
It's been an absolute pleasure. So guys, stay tuned to the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. We have loads and loads of content coming up. We have the Sunday game against Chelsea, and I'm sure you'll get an instant reaction on that. And I'm sure that maybe the lads will do a preview as well. And then afterwards, there'll be the Always Smile Face Up podcast as ever. Always excellent, really good to watch. There might be I think Daryl was trying to hint for a watch along as well. So maybe the guys will do a watch along. But to be honest with you, I'll be hungover on a train back from Aberdeen, so I'll not really be bothered. I'll be in a world of pain. But also, we have it brand new. We have some My Uniteds as well. I watched Razaz the other day as well. That was really good. So check out that. And we've got Dylan Brett as well, who is also known as the now blocked from Twitter out of context Newcastle United. I don't know, out of context Newcastle United site. He is the man who had the original Joe Linton Hawaiian shirt, which is absolutely priceless, brilliant. So he's done his My United as well, so that was really, really good. That was a really good watch, actually. But also, we've got the post-match patter as well from the lads coming up. And, of course, we have the Ryan Taylor phone-in, which was the other day, which was a really good watch. So if you fancy checking that one out, go to the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel and have a look. And as always, really important, if you can, become a member. £2.99. Best £2.99 you'll ever spend, unless you go up to Pound Zone and Reckoning. There's only a certain amount of people who'll understand that reference. You get some extra content. You get some stuff from Scott as well, and from all the other lads as well from the All Smile Faces podcast. And £2.99 you get in the Telegram group, which is absolutely buzzing, right, left, and centre with all sorts of stuff. If you are struggling for a stream, you'll probably find it there. So that's worth its weight in gold anyway. So thank you once again, Laura. Really thank you for joining us. Really good to see you again. And Scott, I'm trying to remember some Dutch, but my Dutch memory is just absolutely gone. But I did wear orange for you, so there you go. Right, Tootsies. Tootsies. So thank you very much, and to all those people who've joined us online as well. Daryl, Tom, Freddie, hope you're feeling better soon, son. I didn't see Marty, actually. Marty wasn't joining us tonight, but hopefully he'll join us later. Davey, Eddie, always. Tune for Life, Stu, Dan Whitten. Thanks to all the regulars for joining us, and Jay Walk as well. He's my new best friend. So, lads and lasses, enjoy the game on Sunday. Hopefully we come away with a really positive result. And just the last one, if you see this man on a plane, don't give him any money, okay? Do not give this man any money whatsoever. He is the Tinder swindler. Laura, Scott, good to see you. Take care, everybody. However, lads, let's have a good game on Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.